Good afternoon and welcome to the 197th episode of the Georgia Farm Bureau Georgia Prep Sports Drive for the GHSA State Title. 1 second, guys. I'm going to send out this link real quick. We have a great show today. We are going to be joined later on with Newton's new head coach, Josh Skelton. I'm really excited to have him on. I think Newton is the best program that hasn't really made a deep run in the playoffs. If you look at it, they haven't made it past the first round in quite some time, since 2015. But man, they've had some huge wins year after year against the likes of Parkview, competing with Grayson and Brookwood. And then I want to point out the 2021 season, because I think this is just so indicative of what Coach Skelton's going to try to do to get them to the next level. So 2021, they opened the season with a 7-6 win over Hughes. We know how good Hughes was that year. They ended up falling short to Buford in the state title before winning it this year. And Hughes was a state championship level team that year. So big win right there. Their next game gets canceled. 2 weeks later, they play Eastside 27-7. They're rolling. Then they have a big win at McEachern, 39-21. And then listen to how close all these losses are. They played Houston County, their final non-region game, 20-13. Houston County was ranked at the time, and so was Newton. So they have been a team that has cracked the polls, especially after that 3-0 start and win over Hughes. They bounced back from the Houston County loss. They opened up the region with a 27-24 win over Parkview, so they've now beaten them 2 years in a row. They fall short to Brookwood. That was actually their biggest loss of the year, 28-6. And then they played Mill Creek in non-region, 17-14, a 3-point loss. Next week, 15-7, a one-possession loss to Grayson. And then 13-6, another one-possession loss to South Gwinnett. So 4-5. 4 of those 5 losses were really close, and that kept them out of the playoffs. It was the first time they hadn't made it in quite a while. So then Coach Skelton took over the defensive coordinator role this past season. He was promoted. He's been there for a while. And that's the thing with Newton. A lot of their coaches have. He is going to be their 18th all-time head coach, but I think his 3 predecessors all came within Newton. And their former defensive coordinator, I think, took the job at Alcovey. He stepped up, and then Camille Grant, this last season, their head coach, knew going into it that it was going to be his last year. He's since taken the assistant athletic director role. He's already made it clear he wants to retire from teaching at Newton. So he'll be in that administrative position. And anyone that's paid attention this year, Newton across the board athletically has been outstanding, including their basketball team and their big showdown with Wheeler this past Monday. I think the big challenge for the football program, and it's going to help having Camille Grant in that athletic director role, they're trying to build their booster club up and also take advantage of all the great alum that have come through. When you look at just the sheer numbers of how many different players have gone from each high school, been represented on college rosters, made it to the NFL, Newton is producing them at an exceptional rate. And having that kind of brand that is Newton, that Newton Rams brand, and bringing back the players and continuing that pride, I think that's really huge. And they have plenty of players to do that. We'll talk about their recent signing class. But then this past year, they went 6-5. Really solid season. They opened up 3-0 once again. So they've had strong starts to the season, and then it's just about finding that edge to take it to the next level. They want to compete for state championships, but they've been in a position where they haven't made it past the first round in so long. I feel like they just need that one season to do it. They had a loss to McEachern this year. McEachern was a team where, if you look at their record, you might say, oh, they didn't have a good season. They lost their quarterback midway through the year, and so that's one of the reasons they didn't reach their full potential. Newton had a really close loss to Brookwood. They did fall to Grayson 26-0, but that was a Grayson team that had just recently gotten beat, I believe, by I think they got beat by Lowndes right before that, and that was when East Coweta then beat Lowndes. So they were getting Grayson in a really must-win situation. And then they closed out the year with 3 straight region wins: Parkview, South Gwinnett, and Archer, and then fell short to Marietta in the state playoffs. Marietta had a really big day rushing the ball in that game. And so it was a disappointing first-round exit for Newton. And in the past, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the past 7 seasons, they've been eliminated in the first round 6 times. So I just think that's the big storyline heading into this next season. Everyone respects Newton. Everyone knows they're a formidable opponent. They're outstanding in pretty much every game. They're going to give you an outstanding effort. They're physical. They got athletes all over the field. It's just about they need that big playoff push to really start building something special. The last time they made it deep was in 2014 when they reached the quarterfinals, and that was their first quarterfinals appearance since 1987, and that's the only other time they made it that far. So really exciting. I know 7A is happy to have that program there, and it will be great to talk to Coach Skelton later on. But I want to go straight into basketball real quick, and I'm also going to talk about the spring sports as well. But we have the region tournaments coming up. They're going to be, in my opinion, highly intriguing. I think there's going to be massive upsets. We've gotten the feel that that's going to be the case all season long. There are some classifications that have what you would consider a true front runner, but there's not many undefeated teams left. There are teams like Wheeler that haven't lost within the classification, but even with them, there's that storyline where they were nationally ranked this past season, and Grovetown came and upset them early in the playoffs, so that'll be interesting. But let's start on the girls' side, and we'll just start in 4A because I've been paying particular close attention to what's been going on in that classification this year. I think the big storyline, though, outside of Luella, Griffin, and Baldwin just beat Griffin in a great rematch, is Holy Innocents, and they are really hot right now. So let's just pull this up. And all these newcomers to Class 4A, I think they are impacting the boys' side as well, but the girls' programs that came in are really going to challenge the likes of Luella and Baldwin. So Holy Innocents has won 10 straight. Their loss to Westminster that was December 6th. Westminster has Courtney Odgen. She's going to be playing in the McDonald's All-American game. She's probably the top scorer in the state, one of them. So they lost that one 55-51. They lost an out-of-state one after that, and then have compiled a 10-game win streak. I believe they also won last night against Druid Hills. But within that win streak, they've beaten Buford 64-57. That's an outstanding win. They're going to close the regular season on Friday, not tomorrow, 2 days, against Southwest DeKalb. So I just think watch out for Holy Innocents because they're obviously in that top 5 position in the poll at this point, but you look at what they've been able to do with their previous state championships, their just greatness and success they've had in the playoffs. I think they're definitely a favorite right now. As for Griffin, talked about their recent loss to Baldwin. It was a big win for Baldwin, who is also red hot. I think they still have, a 12-game win streak, and Baldwin really outclassed them in a big way, 62-45, and then closed out their season on Friday with a 79-33 victory. So these top 5 teams, they seem to be canceling each other out, splitting their regular season series, and then the bottom half of the region standings is just getting smoked. We're seeing 40-point victories, 30-point victories, outstanding in that department. So I think there is, you could say, a lack of depth in terms of maybe 10 teams, but man, there are 6 or 7 on the girls' side in 4A that I think have a chance to win it all this year. And you can't count out Westminster either, just with Courtney Ogden and what she's able to do if they can get her supporting cast going. And look at that, Westminster's latest victory last night, 78-10. So they are just on fire. Courtney had 16 points in that one. And then her teammate, Ryan McFadden, this is a great sign for the Wildcats, had 22 points off 8 of 12 shooting. And then Chartran had 18 points as well. So you're starting to see that starting lineup for Westminster late into the season really starting to click. And you put that pressure on Courtney, she's going to be able to get her teammates involved. And the latest poll I saw, we still have Baldwin at 1, Griffin at 2, Holy Innocents at 3, Luella at 4, Hardaway at 5, Stockbridge 6, Westminster 7, North Hall, they've been outstanding, at 8, and Walnut Grove at 9, Westover at 10. I was looking at Hardaway yesterday. One sec. They're in Region 1. They are undefeated. I know that. So they'll get that top seed. They're 8-0, 19-4 overall. And I do not think they've lost within the classification either. Okay, they did. The one loss they've had was to Luella, and that was a non-region, so they didn't play the home and away, and that was a 43-34 loss. So I really like what Luella's been doing this season. They've probably played the toughest schedule, just even as tough as Holy Innocents has been. Luella played some big national spotlights, a lot of Florida teams. They have lost a few games, but nothing inside the state of Georgia so far outside of the Kell loss, and they are on fire right now. Their latest win was an 81-25 over McDonough, and then last night closed out their season with a 70-36 win over Pace Academy, a team they also beat this year 75-43. So great way to finish for the Lions heading in to the region tournament. And let's see when that region's going to tip off. So we'll have, hasn't been finalized in Region 1 yet, or Region 5. So that will be next week, though. And then Region 2, Griffin did get the top seed, even though they split with Baldwin. Baldwin's going to play Spalding tomorrow night. So we'll have all those updated. You'll be able to go to the AJC and Score Atlanta. We'll have the links to get you there with all the region tournament brackets. And it really is a busy time when you think about it. You have 8 regions. You have 7 classifications. And you have boys and girls. So you are looking at 112 tournaments that are going to be going on at the same time. So you'll be able to follow it all there. It will be organized by classification with the dates and the times, and you'll be able to see who won in the previous round, who's squaring off in the next round, and then who the winner of this will play. And a lot of these regions, the number 1 seed and number 2 seeds will get the automatic bye to the quarterfinal round, and then they'll be playing for a spot in the semis. So they will be guaranteed playoff spots in many of these, but some of the bigger regions, nothing is guaranteed. So that'll be really exciting for sure. So be sure to check that out. On the boys' side, let's see real quick what has been set in stone so far. Okay, in Region 4, 7A, we're going to have South Gwinnett versus Brookwood next Tuesday to tip off. And then I think Archer and Parkview is a really big game. That's the number 4 seed against the number 5 seed. The loser is not making the playoffs, so huge game right there. And same case with South Gwinnett and Brookwood. Then I believe the winner will play. Yeah, the winner of South Gwinnett Brookwood is going to play either Grayson or Newton. I think they play. Is that game tomorrow? Grayson, Newton. One sec. Yeah, that one's on Friday. So Grayson won last night 64-50. We know Newton's coming off that loss to Wheeler, but that was in non-region. So big matchup on Friday. Newton and Grayson are both 8-1. The winner's going to get the number 1 seed. The loser's going to get the number 2. And then right now, South Gwinnett, Archer, Parkview, and Brookwood are going to be battling for those final 2 slots. So 4 teams in that 2-slot battle right there. Also, for the boys, in Region 6, Lambert has the number 1 seed, Denmark the number 2, and then Milton, who they've had a lot of success this year, but then some other games that have put them in the position as a 3 seed where they're going to have to beat Forsyth Central this Saturday to earn their spot in the playoffs. The winner of the Milton Forsyth Central will play Denmark, and then South Forsyth, West Forsyth winner will play top seed Lambert. And then Region 5 and 6A will be very intriguing. I'm interested to see who's going to come out of that one. You have number 1 ranked Alexander as the top seed, and then Hughes is the number 2 seed. Hughes has been a top 10 team all season. And then really a South Paulding team that has been on the edge of the rankings all season long, and they're the number 3 seed, so they will not have to play that play-in game. This is one of the larger regions, so you're going to have 2 games this Saturday, and then South Paulding will await the winner of New Manchester and Douglas County, and then the winner of that game will be playing Hughes in the semifinals. So that's an exciting region right there, Region 5. Then in 5A, I'm trying to look at Grovetown's region real quick. Okay, we don't have that one updated at the moment. But Grovetown's a team who's really come on strong lately. Had a slow start. They're coming off their big state championship season. Everyone's wondering, hey, what's wrong with Grovetown? You look at it, they had all their big playmakers from the previous year returning, and they've really hit a stride right now and are playing top form. And then I want to highlight one more on the girls' side. So on the girls' side, we have already had some regions get started, including Region 2 and 5A. Jones County advanced past Dutchtown as the number 4 seed, and then Union Grove advanced past Locust Grove. So tomorrow night we're going to have the semifinals, and then that will set up the consolation and the championship. It's going to be Union Grove against Eagles Landing, and then number 1 seed Warner Robins against Jones County. 5A, of course, at this point is Kells to lose. So yeah, lots of basketball coming up, including a big one with Grayson and Newton this Friday for the top seed heading into the region tournament. That'll be a big one. But we're going to wrap up basketball for now. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and get into the spring.
This remains the same today. We've grown to protect all Georgians. Our mission has always been to support Georgia farmers. That's why we created Georgia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, providing financial protection that farmers needed. While this remains the same today, we've grown to protect all Georgians through home, auto, and life insurance. From the very beginning and into the future, we stand for every Georgia community.
We are a Farm Bureau.
All right, welcome back. So in this spring section, I'm going to refresh our memory on who won the state titles last year, go through some of the brackets on how they got there, and then kind of reset on what this new reclassification is going to look at. And we will have the rankings coming out for baseball, soccer, and lacrosse next week. So starting in 7A for baseball, Woodstock, they won last year. That was their first ever state title. They had the big semifinal win over Parkview, who was the three-time defending state champs. And that was in, as I said, the semis. They swept that series and then beat Etowah in the championship at Truist Park. Those games have really drawn outstanding crowds. So Woodstock will be the defending champs in 7A. As for 6A, Pope, also a big winner. They've won a bunch of them. Yeah, their 5th all-time state title, 5th since 2009, and 3rd since 2017. And Pope just had a really explosive scoring team last year. They beat Effingham County 17-2, 15-1. Evans 8-4, 9-6. Buford 8-5, 8-4, and then in the championship 10-0, 9-2. So really hot batting from Pope last year in their run to the state title. In 5A, Loganville won once again. That was their 4th since 2017 and 6th all time. And they beat Cartersville in a 3-game series that was held at Rome. And they had swept their way to the state championship and then close it out with that big 9-0 win in Game 3. So Loganville will return as the defending champs. They remain in 5A. In Class 4A, it was North Oconee who took the state title. I know a lot of those guys were also on their football team this last year. They will have their senior years to close it out. That was a big win for them in the baseball department. That was their first ever state title. They beat Benedictine in the semifinals. Outstanding team the Cadets are that have been at a state championship level. So that one really gave them that confidence, and they held off LaGrange in the state championship. So a great run from North Oconee last year. A lot of those guys will be back, and they will be trying to defend that title once again in 4A. In Class 3A, Pike County won their 2nd all-time state title, 2nd since 2019. That's in 3A. They remain in that classification. They had a big win over North Hall in the semis and then beat Redan, who made a really impressive run to the state championship. That included a big semifinal 3-game win over Pierce County. now we're getting interesting. I think this is where it's going to be impacted by the reclassification. So in 2A last year, that was the Vidalia Indians that won the state title. And I do not think they're in 2A anymore. Let me double check this. Nope, they are. But they will have new competition just with the Class A Division I, Class A Division II, and 2A really cross-pollinating and sending teams all over. But Vidalia last year, they beat Thomasville in the state title. That was their third all-time championship and first since 2003. So big ups to the Indians. They'll try to defend that title in 2A. And then Class A Public last year, that was won by Metter. That was back-to-back for them. They won their first ever in 2021. Repeated. They'll try to get the three-peat this year. And then in A Private, that went to Wesleyan last year, who is now in, I think they might be 3A. One sec. Yeah, so Wesleyan's in 3A now. So, yeah, there's obviously going to be a new champion in these Class A Division I, Class A Division II, but watch out for Wesleyan in 3A with Pike County, one of the few classifications that's going to have two defending state champs. And for Wesleyan, they have won 5 state titles all time. And last year was their first since 2015. So that's who to watch out for just on the baseball side of things. Let's go to lacrosse real quick. Lacrosse has been dominated by Lambert on the boys' side. And the way lacrosse is, they have a 6A, 7A classification and then a Class A, 5A. So it's only 2. Lambert, that was back-to-back last year. They won 6 all-time. And then the Lovett boys had a really big win in the Class A through 5A. It was their first state title since 2009 and 4th all-time. And then on the girls' side, you can't really beat these programs. Blessed Trinity girls, they won back-to-back. That's their 10th all-time. And I think obviously the 2020 season got canceled, but Blessed Trinity has won 5 of the last 6 handed out. And then as for Milton, last year that was their 15th all-time state title. They have only been defeated in the championships twice since lacrosse became a sport in 2005. So Blessed Trinity, Milton, that is the gold standard. Let me just see where the Milton girls finished nationally ranked last year. Let's see. Yeah, 15-time state champions. I was actually at the game when Walton finally beat them. That was a big victory. And also shout out to Walton, because you look at who are the most dominant programs in certain sports. In wrestling, it's Jefferson. In volleyball, it's Walton. In lacrosse, it's Milton. And in tennis, it's Walton. And they just cut the tape or cut the ribbon on their brand new tennis facilities. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, but this week. And the new Walton facilities are outstanding. It just was crazy. You have the #1 tennis program in the Southeast for sure, and even nationally. And they barely, I think they had 4 courts they were sharing for boys and girls, and it was in the middle of the parking lot. So the new facilities are outstanding. I know that's a big celebration for them to have that, and I know they'll want to win another tennis state title this year. That'll be later on in the spring. So the Milton girls last year, they were 20-3, Looks like their only in-state loss was to Hillgrove. They beat Creekview 13-12 in that state championship game. So a really close nail biter there. And let's see where they finished. Nationally, number 6 in the nation. So they were the highest ranked Georgia team. And behind them was Creekview at number 16 and Blessed Trinity at number 20. And let's see where the Lambert boys finished. And then reminder, all our rankings will be out next week. We're going to look into it, go through all that, and try to analyze who is bringing back the most talent, what these new regions are looking like, and we'll have that action tipping off. So, yeah, it looks like the lacrosse schedule is going to start next Wednesday for Lambert. They'll play Peachtree Ridge out the gates. So the Milton girls were number 6 in the nation. Lambert finished number 15. So those were the two highest nationally ranked. So, yeah, oh, sorry, Lovett was number 11. They had the 23-0 season. So lacrosse, it's growing exponentially. It's always exciting. It's only the 2 classifications, as I mentioned, so just it is loaded with outstanding programs. Very tough to do what programs like Lambert and Milton have done to just maintain the championship edge. But we'll see. We know teams will be gunning for them for sure. But let's go into some of the breaking news just on the recruiting side. We were obviously busy with National Signing Day with the class of 2023. I think Najee brought to my attention, though, the class of 2025 with his analysis on the quarterbacks. They're kind of floating under the radar. That's Antoine Hill. That's Luke Nickel. And then who was the third? Oh, yeah, DJ Colson from Cedar Grove. I mean, 3 quarterbacks last year that really played at an extremely high level. 3 really intelligent quarterbacks, accurate quarterbacks. So that's an exciting thing to watch for. Thought last year there were some great quarterbacks, but a lot of them are in that class of 2024 with Prentice Air Nolan, Jeremy Hecklinski. But I think Najee's completely right. Those sophomore standouts last year were incredible. And then, of course, we know with Carrollton, they're freshmen playing at that level, but a lot of young quarterback talents. Some of the class of 2024 guys, though, let's see. Obviously, the big names that we've talked about in the past, you have Sammy Brown, Jefferson, absolute beast. KJ Bolden's currently the number 1 ranked recruit. Mike Matthews, that's a big name right there. We'll see what he does next season. He's at Parkview. Parkview's going to have a new head coach, a new quarterback. Will Mike Matthews stay there? We'll see. And then Najee mentioned that he's actually been offered to play 2 sports at the next level, and that is basketball and football, correct? Yeah. So a truly outstanding athlete. I have a feeling that with this junior class, just with all these head coaching changes, even with neighboring schools, we might see some transfers and some big ones. We saw one last year in the middle that is another great class of 2024 guy that's blowing up. That's JoJo Stone, now at Langston Hughes. Najee and I spoke about him. We think he's poised for a massive year next season for Hughes, maybe even stepping into that primary target role. He comes from a Grayson team that obviously doesn't pass nearly as much as Hughes did last year, while they set the all-time scoring record in state history. So that will be extremely exciting. Martavius Collins, the big tight end from Rome, athlete, has been starting since his freshman year. I'm excited for what Caleb Odom's going to continue to do at Carrollton with Juju Lewis at court. You have DeBron Gatlin at Milton. He's outstanding. Then gosh, I had a name on the tip of my tongue, but Woodward Academy obviously has a ton of talent right now. Hecklinski, he's poised for a big year. Ashton Woods at Walton. Aaron Philo. Bryce Hicks, what's he going to do his senior season next year? I like Kyle Vaca. I thought he had a great season at Johns Creek, who struggled last year. They had a new quarterback, new coach, new system, but he put up nearly 800 yards and really proved that he's a deep threat. And I said with him, it's a great receiver that would have the 1 to 2 catches. All he needed was that one big game to show that he can have that big 2 touchdown, 140, 150-yard game, and he did it last year against Pope. I think he was somewhere close to 170, 180 yards, had a touchdown in that game. And he's been blowing up on the recruiting scene. Recently, he posted a 37-inch vertical, which that is outstanding. When I was at UGA and we did our combine, it's on the same thing. You can't cheat it. It's not one of those where you're at the Nike Spark camp and you jump up and it measures how long. It's like you stand up, you have the thing, you got to jump up and hit it. And so that was a legit 37-inch vertical right there. That would have been top 10 on the team at Georgia when I was there. I mean, that is a massive vertical for a young junior. And then I have one more clip that I want to talk about with a junior that I actually got to meet at the Georgia Elite Classic. And that's Maximus Solomon. I believe he played as a sophomore at Pickens, then went to Cherokee this last season. And I met him. He's a big kid, 6'4". I think he's listed at like 225 right now. So he's put on, I think, 10 pounds in the last year. But what impressed me about him is when we got up to Rome for the Georgia Elite, he had to come in a little late. And so he missed the first couple sets of practice. But, man, he played just with extreme energy, physicality, and obviously grasped the playbook. And so I thought that was impressive. Coming into an all-star setting like that and missing the first day, you only have 2 days of practice. And so he showed up, really took advantage of that next day. And so we're going to watch some of his highlights from this game right here. This is Maximus Mad Max Solomon playing offensive tackle at Cherokee.
So that puts him over 100 yards of total offense. Quick
receiver specifically.
So he had Cam Robinson, Mill Creek's incredible running back, was in the backfield with him. So meshing with a lot of different guys. So in this, you'll see this is the best play right here. Look at this block on the edge.
Direct snap goes
complete
to Cam
pancake
Robinson.
right
He
there.
hops in there for the touchdown.
So that's how you make a statement right there. It's like you show up, you're a day late, you got to meet the coaches. Everyone has an extra day of practice, and you make your presence felt right there.
Their semifinal game against Langston Hughes is that, Fountain
good
is a
pass
guy
block
that
right there. You
goes
see the
up
6'4"
top,
size.
and it's caught over the shoulder at the 39-yard line, and there he is again.
One more play right there, getting after it, blocking to the whistle.
Did it work, though?
I don't know.
So, yeah, really impressed with Maximus Solomon. It was great meeting him up in Rome. Big kid, definitely has even more room to grow. And mentioned he had transferred into Cherokee. So this is another player to be watching this next season as he's competing for the Warriors. I think that will be exciting what he's going to do. He was also invited to the Georgia-Florida All-Star game. I think he had a conflict. That was a couple months ago, but he's been busy. I know with Lyman it's tough because they don't get the 7-on-7s, but he'll keep going around these showcases, and I know he's excited about this offseason, trying to take advantage of it before his big senior year. So that's what I got for the class of 2024, but we're going to be joined on the other side by Coach Skelton. We'll go ahead and take one more quick break.
Our mission has always been to support Georgia farmers. That's why we created Georgia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, providing financial protection that farmers needed. While this remains the same today, we've grown to protect all Georgians through home, auto, and life insurance. From the very beginning and into the future, we stand for every Georgia community.
We are our Farm Bureau.
All right, welcome back. So we are going to try to join Coach Josh Skelton in a second, but anyone watching, they can follow him. He's at Coach Skelton. That's Skelton. He's been tweeting about what his guys are doing this offseason so far. And, man, that Newton weight room, they've got, as he would say, they've got some dogs in there. Absolutely jacked guys. And we know how great their track program is, basketball program. And then on the football field, they are no joke. And they're going to be fast and physical. He makes that transition from the defensive coordinator last season, and I just think they have that motivation right now just after coming so close to breaking through in the playoffs these last couple of years. The respect's there. Everyone knows what the Newton program's about. The basketball team continues also putting just the entire community on the map, and I think this is a big opportunity for them. All right, Coach, how's it going? Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's been going great.
Awesome. So, yeah, let's just talk about this Newton program. I think when you took the job, you pointed out correctly, everyone respects Newton. They know they're getting a great game, a great opponent, but it's having that season where you guys have that big playoff, the one thing that's been missing. So, I mean, how central of the focus is that this year?
I think that's the number one focus right now, just getting over what we call the hump right now. That's making us a championship contender. We want to be those guys that's consistently in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and obviously winning the championship. I think the community is ready for that. I think our guys obviously are ready for the challenge. As our staff is being formed, our administration is on board. I think we're set to do some great things. The work is being put in nonstop, so we're gonna go out here and see what happens.
Yeah, and I was noticing just with these last two seasons, I mean, you guys have come out and started the season really well. So obviously you guys are putting in this work in the off season. You're coming out primed, ready to go. And then you guys played just a difficult schedule. You had a ton of close losses in 2021. You had some games where you had to bounce back from this last year. But how do you guys just continue building to where you are playing your best football later on?
I think this kind of coming on your what you said just now is, we had a quarterback, a freshman quarterback. I think started the last 3 or 4 games going into the playoffs. I think he did great. When we look at it offensively, we only losing 2 guys up front. Everybody else is returning. I think defensively, we've always been stable. We got to learn to finish. I think that's been the motto so far in our weight room, in our agility sessions and all that. It's just been about finishing. So we got to have a great second half of the year, right? And learn how to finish games, absolutely.
Yeah, well, it looks like a lot of young guys got to play some serious snaps last year. You had a freshman running back, Zion Johnson, going over for 1,000 yards as a sophomore. So what is that looking like just in terms of returning starters and just how your young guys stepped up and what you're expecting from them this year?
I'm extremely excited. I think Zion Johnson is one of the best backs in the country. I think his film speaks for itself. He's a guy that I think has the potential to probably win or compete for state championship track as well. We got a lot of young guys in terms of guys who started on our 9th grade team that starting and playing a lot of snaps towards the year. So we got a lot of experience. Those guys aren't young anymore, and I think that this helps our depth. And I think with Newton, over the years, we've always had challenges in depth. We want our 2s, we want our 3s to be stable guys, and we want to be able to rotate our guys and develop the rest of those guys. I think at the end of the day, how well we coach the bottom 25% of the guys is going to make or break the season for us. And that's what the staff is focusing on. I think the young guys are doing great. I think they're stepping up. We got some young guys that are taking some leadership roles and receive guys. So I think we're in a step in the right direction.
For sure. And obviously, it's about these guys, this group you have getting ready for this 2023 season. But one of the things I know you guys are looking to do is just take advantage of all your great alumni and guys that have come through and made the program what it is. You look at what's going
Absolutely.
on with the basketball team right now. There's so much excitement. Just the success you guys have had on the football field. So what is the overall just buzz around the Newton community right now, what you guys are doing athletically, and just how's this offseason kind of compare to previous years just in terms of the opportunity that you guys are knocking on the door of?
Oh, no doubt. I think it's the best off season, especially in terms of start of it, that I've ever been a part of. I've been here obviously 11 years or so. But our alumni has been great. I mean, we got, speaking of alumni, Tate Gowland, who's with the Vikings. He's been here the last couple of days. Got our guys a ton of stuff. Working out with our guys. We have all our alumni is coming back. So I think that the buzz from the baseball team, the basketball team, obviously, and now us, is going great. It's taking Newton. Everybody in this building wants Newton to be a state contender in all sports. I think the message has been set in terms of the hires and in terms of the expectations from the alumni as well as the administration. Everything we're asking for from a resource standpoint is being given for us to compete, us getting turf and all these other things that we've been from the outside looking in, being behind on. We're now working towards getting on the even playing field. So the excitement is there. I mean, we right at 100 kids in our weight room continuously. We got guys working out on the weekends. We got third graders. We got a feeder program working hard. We got young coaches that's down there with those guys as well. So we're not just looking at being great now, but in terms of long lasting, being able to build something for the future as well. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, and your region, you guys are so familiar with those opponents. It's outstanding every year. You guys challenge yourself in the non-region. I think what's interesting, though, you're coming in as a new head coach. Grayson's going to have a new head coach. Parkview's going to have a new head coach. Brookwood's going to look different. South Gwinnett had a great year. So I think just in terms of this region, I mean, there's just a ton of excitement and opportunity just across the board. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. I think just seeing some of the other guys get an opportunity, field obviously is open, but just seeing new opportunities come over there at Grayson as well. I'm excited because everybody gets to start fresh. I know Coach Brown been over there for some time, but getting us to kind of be first head coaches before getting the other one at recent time, exciting. Parkview, I got a great relationship with Coach Lamar, all those guys. A lot of respect for everybody who's in the street. But I know that everybody feel like wide open. We're ready to get to work to see what happens this year.
Oh, yeah, it's always a battle for those 4 spots. Last question, though. I saw Coach Grant had kind of talked about the idea that this would be his last season. He's taking that administrative role, but it seems like you were ready for this opportunity to step in as the head coach. So how'd that process go? How'd you kind of sell what your vision was for the program, and just how excited are you to be able to have this mission?
Yeah, I got a chance, especially this past with Coach Grant, and take hip to hip with him about the entire year in terms of the decision making and seeing how that process go from a head coaching role. Always, we've always been on the same page. Coach Grant has been a long time assistant before and then head coach. So I've been on the staff with Coach Grant for many years, and we've always shared the same vision. And I feel like he was a major part for me not only getting it but taking it, because he supported my vision and where I think we need to go in terms of the energy, in terms of the youth, and just the whole branding that I think we need to do. I think that he's been a major part, and he's going to be a major part in doing some of the administrative things that we can do from up top in the building, getting our guys more time and more resources. He's done a phenomenal job so far. Backing from him. He's going to help us in every capacity he can. But man, he's been great. Like I said, we know Newton is ready to show the state of Georgia what our community is about and the type of backing we're a football town. Our community is great. I'm excited to go out here and show how well put together the community is. And go out here and battle with the kids.
For sure. And obviously, you guys are representing the Newton program, the Rams. I think, what is your saying? Is it all in?
Absolutely.
All in, exactly. But in terms of the weight room, that's huge, just competing in 7A football, getting your guys physical,
Right.
getting them ready. But how important do you think is it just from a confidence standpoint, having your guys go out there just physically ready to impose your will on these opponents?
Absolutely. Just speaking on the weight room, I'm a weight room guy. I've been a strength and conditioning coach here for pretty much since I walked in. I believe that the weight room is a staple of our program. We want to be strong in the fourth quarter. I think the weight room is essential because for us, it builds confidence. Our body change. We got guys that put on 18 pounds, 20 pounds. We got big linemen who are shed and leaned out. The nutrition program we got here and how we feed our guys after workouts. But we take that serious. We really take the preparation stand seriously. That the way we train here has to transfer to the field. So right now, the weight room is an opportunity to build relationships as a staff with the guys. I think it's really kind of hard for a staff member to just coach a guy on the football field sometimes and not in the weight room. So our whole staff is in the weight room, being productive with the guys, pushing the guys. We want to operate with tempo in the weight room, so we can operate with tempo on the field. And we set the expectations early in here and how we finish, how we compete, how we group our guys. And it's been great. It's been a staple of our program, and this is how we built a lot of our guys. They always have started with the weight room. We've been able to shake the guys' minds in here, so it will continue to be that. I will continue to be in the weight room first and foremost with our guys, and I think that's going to be always a deal breaker for us on the field.
For sure, and that work's going to pay off later. Those extra 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, that will help last that season, get you guys where you want to be for sure. But, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We're excited about what's in store for Newton this season, but obviously the years ahead. And then just want to say good luck to you guys against Grayson on the hardwood this Friday. That's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Thank you, and go Rams.
Go Rams. All right. So there you have it. We've talked about how close Newton's been to breaking through. They've played outstanding, and I think the big takeaway is they were very young last year, had a sophomore rush for over 1,000 yards. All the change in that region, all the new head coaches at Grayson and Parkview as well. I think the opportunity is there to potentially get home field in the playoffs and celebrate that big playoff victory, make a deep run. So we will be back, though, tomorrow with Keeping It Real with Najee Wilkins, and then on Friday with another episode of The Drive for the GHSA State Title. Once again, we'll have the rankings out next week for the spring sports, and we'll have more coverage at scoreatl.com. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you then.